Hey everybody, how's it going? So today I wanted to talk about Linus investing over $200,000 into Framework, a company that makes a repairable laptop that supports the concept behind right to repair in both writing and also in action. As they've recently said, they are open to making schematics available to repair shops, and they make the parts available to fix their devices. I did a review of this product recently, and they really do care. There's not 80 different types of screws in there. Everything is easy and simple to get to. This laptop was designed from the ground up to be repairable, and I think that is absolutely amazing. Now, Linus has invested over $200,000 into this company, and a lot of people have been asking what I think of this, so it should be obvious at this point, but I will do a video on it anyway. Now, before I had a framework, I was using a ThinkPad. Many people will say that if you are for right to repair, but you use products from right to repair unfriendly companies, that makes you a hypocrite. When I used a ThinkPad, it was not because they were a right to repair friendly company, because there were none producing laptops. If you wanted a laptop and you wanted a company that respects the concepts behind right to repair, you were going to be using an Altair because there's no company that supports this in any way until Framework came along. Now, with the ThinkPad, the reason that I use them is not because they supported right to repair. It's because I was less likely to need anything from right to repair. They don't have that crappy system of the little grommets stuck in plastic for the screen to screw into or the hinges to screw into that constantly break. So I wouldn't need to buy a back cover for my ThinkPad as much as I would for an HP or an Acer. They don't have the charge port soldered onto the board. They have it on a little attachment that then goes to the board by a cable. So I would not need to buy that as often because it's less likely to break. They have a motherboard covered in a liquid-resistant material and then a drainage system that drains the water out of the machine so it never gets to the board. This doesn't mean Lenovo is going to give me schematics or diagrams for the board. It just means that I'm less likely to need them as a result of their design. But most certainly, Lenovo is not a right-to-repair friendly company. It's not, the whole concept of schematics or die, and that's not a part of them at all. And I actually talk about my experience in this video from 7 years ago, where I had much more black hair than I do now, and I'm talking about what it was like trying to become an authorized repair center for them. If you want to become an authorized repair center for a company like Lenovo, you actually have to commit to selling a certain amount of their devices per quarter. And if you don't sell a certain number of their devices per quarter, you're not able to repair them, which makes no sense whatsoever. It is a completely perverse incentive structure where in order to fix your device, I have to try to also sell you a new one. It just makes no sense whatsoever. They are not even remotely close to being a right to repair friendly company. But I use my ThinkPad because if I am going to buy a laptop from a right-to-repair friendly company, I'm probably going to be stuck buying an Altair, and I don't feel like carrying that around with me. Now, in this video, I go over many ways in which authorized repair centers are forced to screw the customer, and I think it was a decent video. Much of this still holds true today. But when it comes to Linus's investment, what he's doing is he's putting his money where his mouth is. So there are many people out there that have said, Lewis, if you don't like the fact that there are no right-to-repair friendly companies, why don't you invent your own laptop? Why don't you invest in a company doing this? Or why don't you start a company that makes laptops? And I will completely cop to the fact that I am A, not financially solvent enough to be able to invest this much money into a laptop company, B, not smart enough to engineer my own laptop from scratch, and C, not well capitalized enough or having high enough of a credit score to get the type of loan and financing necessary for a few $100 million or so to be able to hire people who can build and create a laptop that competes with what you have from Dell and HP and Lenovo and Apple. Yeah, I'll cop to that. I don't have the money for that, and I don't have the brain for that. But when people who do have the money and the brain for that come together to create something like this, this is what the free market is about. And I really do hope to see Framework succeed. And I also think that it would be great if more whales decide to follow Linus's example and say, yeah, I'm putting $1 million, I'm putting $5 million, I'm putting $30 million in. I'd like to see more of this because this is how you actually get change. As I said in my prior videos, I had minor doubts about it when I spoke to, I think, a PR intern or something for the company a while back, but I got to speak with the CEO a few months ago, and they are really seriously all for right to repair, and they are willing and open to demonstrate that this is the case. On their website, on their forum, you actually have instances where people are talking about designing accessories for the products, and one of them made a mistake, and one of the engineers got on and said, "Oh yeah, I think you made a mistake here. Here's what you want to do to make sure your third-party accessory works with our product." Can you imagine Apple or Lenovo or Dell talking to some, small-time designer on a forum who's trying to make an accessory for their product and making a suggestion so that it works better? This is a really cool company, and I want to see more and more people invest in companies like this. And since you asked me, what do I think of this specifically? Honestly, the first thing I feel, and it probably seems selfish and narcissistic, is disappointment in myself for the fact that I'm not in the position to be able to do this. I have made numerous bad personal and mostly business decisions over the past 10 years, with my supply company failing, and I've made several bad decisions with my repair company that had I not made, I probably would have been a millionaire, if not a multimillionaire by now. I am not even close to that as a result of just repeatedly making bad business decisions and bad business choices. So I don't have the ability to participate in rounds of funding for companies like this. I don't have the ability to put my money where my mouth is and actually do something like this. But Linus runs a successful company, and he has made good business decisions, which means that he actually can put his money where his mouth is. And I really do hope to see a lot more people do this. I really respect Linus for doing this. I respect him for announcing it instead of just keeping it private so that more people can see this. This is one of those cases where it's really difficult to get people who have money to put something in until they see that somebody else has done it. I've spoke to people who were worth $1 billion and close to $1 billion before, and I've actually gotten donations from them for the 501c3. And one of the things that I've heard from one of them, and also others in my past who are not even worth close to that much, but we're multimillionaires, is that this kind of this sanity check, they are for something, but they're so afraid of doing something wrong or stupid or having a bad domino effect on the world or whatever that as a sanity check, they want to see that other people with similar net worths, with similar fame or following are doing the same thing they're thinking of doing, just to double check and make sure that they're sane, that they're not out of their mind when they're doing something, that they're not making a mistake. So when someone who has almost 14 million subscribers, who probably is a multimillionaire and very successful, says, not only do I like this product, but I'm investing over $200,000 in it right now, what that does is it sends a message to other people with equal or much higher net worths than Linus that this is a good idea to do. And that's a very important thing, because if you want to see this company succeed, they're going to need a lot of money. You may notice on their website that they don't have a lot of different configurations available. You can't get it with a matte screen. You can't get it with a bigger screen. You can't get it with a dedicated GPU. You can't get it with an AMD Ryzen. Laptops don't have high profit margins. They just don't, unless you're selling something at a price point that nobody will buy. And to compete with Dell and HP and Acer and Apple and Lenovo, as they have, with all the money they have and the economies of scale that they have from the amount of customers they have, to compete on that level is going to cost a lot of money. Even if you're only offering one device or one or two or three different configurations. And if you want to see them succeed as they are, much less succeed in delivering a lot of different offerings, they're going to need a lot of money to do that. They're going to need a lot of money from a lot of people. And that money, I think, is going to start flowing in once you have people with 14 million subscribers that have a lot of money say, yeah, I have 14 million subscribers, I review tech, and I'm putting my money on the table right here, right now to support this company. Linus he makes entertaining content, but he also makes content reviewing products from tech companies. He makes products reviewing motherboards and RAM and computers and laptops and cases and all sorts of stuff like that, in addition to the entertaining content that he does. And most of those companies are not pro right to repair. So to come out pro right to repair and support a company that is pro right to repair in a sea of anti-repair companies, when those anti-repair companies are the companies that are often sponsoring his videos, paying for ad spots that are required when you have the size of a place that he has to do the videos, when you have the number of employees he does, that takes balls, because you never know if those people may say, I don't want to sponsor you anymore. I don't want to be in your video anymore because our company doesn't believe in right to repair. And you have people out there that are not willing to speak up on right to repair because they're afraid of how it will personally affect them. I have been speaking to people trying to arrange a lobbying day in Massachusetts, and many have said yes. Some have said no because they're afraid of sticking their neck out. They're afraid of how it may affect their company. What if Apple sees that I spoke out against them and come and sends me a letter or something, and then I make less money at my business? You have a lot of people that are not willing to speak out for what they believe in because they're afraid of losing money. And admittedly, some of these repair shops that are not willing to say a word because they think if they say something, maybe they'll get a letter in the mail, they have a lot less to lose than Linus. Linus is something like, I don't know, the last time I heard it was something like 30 plus employees, a YouTube channel with 14 million subscribers, and he doesn't give a shit. He's just going to say, this is what I believe in. I'm going to invest in what I believe in. If you don't like that, you can gargle my balls. Well, I guess he's not going to say that because he has a PG audience, but you get the idea. I respect what he's doing here, and I think that the real key here is not just his 200K, although his 200K is most certainly a 200K more than what I put in. What's going to really matter here is when people see what he did that are billionaires or 100 millionaires or even 10 millionaires and decide, you know what, here's 5 million. When they say, here's 500 million on the table, here's 200 million on the table. Because I have spoken with people that have a net worth of $1 billion before. And it is not just you or I in the YouTube comment section that believe that tech companies are trying to exert too much control over our lives. It is not just people who have net worths in the 3 to 5 figures that believe that tech companies are becoming bullies and that they need to have their power checked. It is also people in that 10 million to 100 million, all the way up to the $1 billion range, who believe that they have a little bit too much control. But even at that level, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to put their money into, they don't know what to invest in, and they don't know what is a scam. They are more than happy to throw some money on the table, but they need that sanity check. They need to know that they're not putting their money into a scam, and they need to know that when they're putting their money into something, that they're not the only one putting their money in. A lot of them are willing to put money in, but they don't want to be the first. So when Linus, with 14 million subscribers, comes out and says, I have 30 employees, we make our money by doing tech videos, and we make our money by doing tech content and getting sponsored by all these anti-right to repair companies. By the way, we support right to repair. We're investing in a right to repair friendly company. Fuck you. That sends a message, and that message is going to lead to a lot more funding. And I think that is actually what the effect of this is going to be. A $200,000 investment, again, I do not mean to throw any shade at Linus with this. Please don't interpret it in that way. But when you're talking about a company that produces consumer laptops with a very, very small profit margin, that the 200K in and of itself is not going to be the game changer. The game changer is going to be the tens of millions of dollars that this company is now going to be able to attract because someone like Linus advertised that he put his own 200K in there. That is a down payment on some billionaire out there deciding that he is going to put tens of millions of dollars into this business as a result of what Linus did. Give it top 6 months. I'm willing to put money on the table that within 6 months, somebody who is a billionaire will come out and donate or invest in Framework an amount that is 8 to 9 figures or more. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I will see you all in the next video. Bye now. And again, go over to Linus, show him some love. He did a good thing here. And I hope more people do this in the future. And again, I am admittedly, I am kind of kicking myself that I made, if I had made better life decisions, I would most certainly be able to kick in something like that. But I didn't. So is what it is. I will see you all in the next video. Bye now.